Now, let me start this off by saying that of all the things we knew we were going to see at Celebration, I think The Mandalorian might have been the one I was most excited for, the one that I thought might just have the most potential overall, for a great many reasons. One of which being that the man at the helm, Jon Favreau, is not only extremely talented at what he does, he's also a passionate Star Wars fan and loves Mandalorians. He even played one in the Clone Wars, voicing Pre Vizsla. Then there's also the fact that this show will be available at the launch of the Disney Plus streaming service, or at least the first episode will. And so it then stands to reason that they'll be willing to dump a lot of money into this show in order to lure people in who might be leery about paying for yet another streaming service. So in other words, they're probably going to go above and beyond with this show, considering they want to help it sell the service. Which is why I was a little surprised that, for those watching the live stream of the panel from Celebration at home, that they blacked out the 3-minute clip of footage that they showed. Because again, you want people to get really excited about this show and buy your streaming service in a few months. And yet you do something that right away might irritate a lot of those who may be on the fence about paying the $7 a month fee it will cost. Which, no, on its own doesn't sound like a ton of money or anything, but it's $7 on top of all the other monthly subscriptions you're already paying. And don't get me wrong here, because I do understand wanting to do something special for those people who are actually in attendance. I also know we'll be seeing plenty of trailers and commercials for this show in the coming months, so it's just a delay of the inevitable. But it's just a shame that they didn't give us watching at home even one glimpse of footage here, especially when it's bound to leak online anyway, which it already has, and that's how I saw it. And I'll post a link to it in the comments below, assuming of course it's still up and hasn't been taken down already. Anyway, that little disappointed preamble out of the way, let me now say that this show looks and sounds pretty incredible. Yes, the Episode 9 trailer was fine, Jedi Fallen Order has a lot of potential too, and I'm also super excited about Clone Wars and the panel for that later today, and I'll try to do a video on that tonight. But wow, this show might end up being everything a lot of us Star Wars fans have ever wanted. Because it'll have the potential to be the best of pretty much everything. And what I mean by that is what makes the animated shows great, or what I really enjoy about them, is that they can slow the story down in a way that the movies obviously can't. They can explore the characters with far greater depth than a 2-hour movie ever could. However, and I don't mean this as a knock on them, but there's just something about live action Star Wars or the movies that is amazing to witness, and the animated shows don't or can't quite capture it in the same way. Though sure, the visuals in them can still be striking and awesome in their own respect. But anyway, this show has the potential to give us stories and characters with a great deal of depth, while also still having the feel of an actual Star Wars movie, because from the little clip I saw, it looks like the production values of the show will be very near that level. Each season may very well be like watching a multiple-hour Star Wars movie, and that's a really incredible thought. Not to mention, it also looks like it may be a bit more adult-oriented than anything we've ever gotten out of Star Wars before. It's finally going to take us into the underworld and follow a Mandalorian gunslinger who starts out as a bounty hunter with, as Pedro Pascal, the actor who plays him, said, questionable moral values and is a badass. And he's just hunting bounties and doing his own thing, as he tries to survive in a time when the Empire has fallen, but the New Republic has yet to fully gain control, that being roughly 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and all the celebrations have ended, all the happiness after the fall of the Empire is over, and lawlessness runs rampant across the galaxy, particularly in the Outer Rim where most of the show is going to take place. We also learned that the Mandalorian ship will be called the Razor Crest, and got a quick peek at it, but no other real details. Furthermore, we learned that Gina Carano will be playing a character named Cara Dune, a former Rebel shock trooper, which sounds pretty cool if you ask me. And she's a loner who is having trouble reintegrating into society after the Galactic Civil War. Then there's also Grief Margot, or Cargo. It's hard to tell because it seemed to get pronounced 2 different ways at the panel. But anyway, he's being played by Carl Weathers, best known for playing Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. And what we know about his character is that he runs a bounty hunter guild and will hire the Mandalorian to track down a product for a client using any means necessary. We also know the imagery and tone is going to be a cross between a Western and an old samurai movie, which is very much like the vibe Lucas himself was going for with the original Star Wars movie. They also talked about bringing back some old alien races, as well as bringing in some new ones, and one of my main gripes with the sequel trilogy has been the lack of aliens, both new and old. But all in all, I think it's the passion behind the project that's really selling me at this point, not just from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, which you would fully expect, but also from the actors as well. They seem to really get into these characters, and I always love when the actors actually care about the characters and the story they're telling. Also, it's always nice to hear that to honor the original Star Wars movie, they'll be using practical effects when and where they can, as well as using actual puppets, which always just adds that extra something special visually that, for whatever reason, digital effects can't capture. They also said they wanted to bring in many different aspects of Star Wars, and that they even included expanded universe material, though no surprise they didn't go into detail about whatever that might be including. Anyway, this show is supposed to debut with the Disney Plus streaming service on November 12th of this year, and they said it'll be a show that anyone can get into, but that Star Wars fans will of course notice a few extra details in. And honestly, if this show is great, and I have every confidence right now that it will be, it could give this franchise a nice little shot in the arm, and not only bring back some of the fans who may be losing interest at this point, but also could bring in some brand new ones. And I, for one, am very, very excited for this show. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think so far about The Mandalorian. Is this the future of Star Wars, perhaps? Less movies and more live-action shows? Well, whatever you think, let me know in the comments below, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.